Y'all, um, what the actual fuck? Anyway, hi, hello, how are we doing? I'm actually overheating. It is currently, what time is it? It is currently 9:48 p.m. and it's still in the 70s. I don't do heat, okay? For those who don't know this about me, I don't do heat. I don't like the heat is too hot, but that's fine because that's not important. We're here to talk about the Pit. I recently watched the Pit for the first time. To be fair, the bestie has been yelling at me for many months now to watch the Pit, and I finally did it. Last week, I watched the first 3 episodes when I got home from work on Friday. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. And then I watched 10 episodes on Saturday, and then I finished it on Sunday. I'm I'm so unwell about this show in the sense that I already want to watch it again. I finished it a week ago, and I want to watch it again. You know what I actually want to do? I want to take a day, and I want to wake up at like 6:30, and I want to start the Pit at 7, and I want to watch it non-stop and let it be like real time and in real time experience what the characters are experiencing in real time. I just I think I need to calm down. This is what I'm here for, essentially. I'm here to get my feelings out so I don't go crazy. So let's start by me telling you what this video is not. This video is not going to be me discussing the Pit in like a profound way. I'm not going to talk about the plot. I'm not going to talk about the themes. I'm not going to get into any of that. I literally just have a list of the characters up on my phone from Wikipedia, and we're going to run through them. I'm going to give you my thoughts on all of them, and then I'm going to go to AO3, and I'm going to talk to you very quickly about the ships of this show, because a lot of you are on hard drugs, and I do need to address that. I also have my Dude Coke. You can't see it. Hold on. My Dude Coke. I recently obtained a can of Coca-Cola that says Dude on it, and it amused me, so I've been saving her for a special occasion, which will be this moment where I devolve psychologically and start losing my mind even more so about this show in the hopes that tomorrow I can be normal about it. Also, just in general, before I forget, spoilers for The Pit. If you have not watched The Pit, if you were like me a week and a half ago and you hadn't seen The Pit, you need to watch The Pit. The Pit is genuinely how did I phrase this to the bestie? Because I do stand by it. Of shows that have a second season, or at least a planned second season, I think The Pit is the greatest first season of television I've ever seen. By which I mean, I don't count things like Baby Reindeer, The Penguin, and Adolescence. Of like shows that began in the 2020s, like real like multiple season show, this really might be the best one I've ever seen. You should absolutely go watch it. What character do I want to begin with today? I think we need to begin with my boy, with my son, Mr. Dennis Whitaker. That is my child. That is my twink. I was actually talking about this show to someone at work, and they'd like seen the Pit, and they were like, which one's Whitaker again? And I was like, the twink, and they were like, right. That's my child, okay? I love him. I did have to consistently remind myself that that actor is in his 30s because I would like to adopt him as my son. I loved him so bad. I just love a broken little man who has no confidence and also twink energies, and that is Whitaker. Like, when he lost that patient and he started crashing out, I had never been more seated. That's not true. There are various moments in the show I'd never been more seated. But, like, I was ready. I was like, okay, we're doing this. Let's deal with the trauma. Let's deal with the psyche. And then he kept getting fluids on himself in various forms. I would like to protect him and keep him safe. I am going to talk about him and Santos later when I talk about Santos, but I do have thoughts on their dynamic. Actually, I changed my mind. We're going to talk about Santos now. Santos was my least favorite character. Literally, when I was like listing my favorite and least favorite characters to the bestie, it literally went Santos, very large gap, Myrna, another very large gap, anyone else. I hated Santos. I understand her. I'm not saying like I don't get what she's supposed to be as a character. I get it. She's damaged. She uses humor to cope. We've all been there. But like, I feel like some of us learned when your humor is bad, and some of us learned that we weren't funny, and some of us are funny, and sometimes it's not funny. Sometimes it's annoying. She pisses me off so bad. Everything she did, that's not true. She had some good moments. Her good moments were as follows. One, the scene where she threatens to essentially murder that man who's molesting his daughter. That was a good scene. I liked that scene. The scene where she was talking to the kid who tried to kill himself. That was also a good scene. And then she is just kind to Whitaker at the end, and she lets him live with her. So there's that. I was talking to the bestie. I am very excited to see the vibe between them for season 2. I'm ready for it. I can see it going several different ways. I really hope they don't try and make them like friends. Like, okay, this is gonna be a weird comparison. In Abbott Elementary, when like Jacob and Melissa move in together and they have that episode where they're besties, if we get something like that, I'm gonna shoot someone in the face. I do prefer them more antagonistic to each other, or at least her more antagonistic and mean to him. But like, they can't be friends. I need it to be weird. I need it to be a very weird vibe where like he drops subtle lore that he's learned about her life having lived with her, and she's like, shut the fuck up. I have visions for them, and I do think that it is like spiteful in energy. Anyway, we've done 2 of the first 2. Let's do the third one. Victoria Javati. I did not care about her. I'm gonna be so. She's very pretty. Like, the actress herself is very pretty. She seems very cute and sweet. But like, most of what she did not compel me in any way. I didn't dislike her, but like, she just didn't do much for me. The only moment that I was like, that's a real person, like that's a real character that I really want to get to know more about, is when she was flirting with Mateo. I like Mateo. I like Mateo because Mateo is hot, and that's literally it. But like, he's hot and nice. What more do we need? What more does Victoria need? Because she was flirting with him and she asked him out, and then he was like, bestie, I don't date people from work. So I'm good. I will be passing, but thank you. And then he invited her out for a drink at the end, and I was like, okay, sure, why not? But like, other than that one scene where like she really acted like a human, I didn't get much like character from her. She was kind of just there. Okay, now let's move to our second years. And first I want to talk about McKay. McKay. Here's the thing. In the first like 3 or 4 episodes, I was really intrigued by her. I was really compelled by her. She was talking to Victoria, and she was like, I get it, like, I'm older than everyone else, and I have a kid, and I have an ankle monitor, and I'm like, let's expand on these things. Let's expand on your lore, on your trauma. And then I feel like, maybe this was just me, I feel like they did not show her for episodes, like, 5 through 9, and she just stopped being a real character and a person in the show, and I lost all of my, like, compulsion about her. I was no longer compelled by her because she disappeared from the earth. I do still like her. My one thing with McKay. This is my one thing with McKay. Actually, now that I say this, she was in episodes 5 through 8, and I think she was only in episodes 5 through 8 to tell Robbie to call the cops. And to be fair, McKay was right. Every time McKay did anything, she was correct. Like, every time she would be like, you need to call the cops, I was like, yes, you absolutely need to call the cops, sir. And when she drilled a hole in her ankle monitor, I was like, yes, that was the correct thing to do. She was right to do that. And then just, McKay is always correct, but I feel like I lost a lot of interest in her as the show went on. I just feel like she was underutilized. I feel like she would have been an interesting, like, sort of study of, like, these older people who go back to school and, like, try to get their life back on track. But I feel like they kind of forgot about her. I don't know. I feel like there was more depth there that I do want them to explore in season 2, but I feel like she was underutilized in season 1. It's time to talk about Bryan Cranston's daughter, Mel. For starters, I think it's very interesting that on her on the Wikipedia page, I was going to say her, it's the general Wikipedia page that I have up, it describes her as a, in parentheses, possibly neurodivergent second-year resident. Here's the thing. I do believe she's meant to be, like, some form of on the spectrum. I feel like, I did not realize until literally this moment, is that not supposed to be her lore? I've always assumed that was her lore. Like, she bonded with the autistic man, she loved pulling gravel out of the thing, she had her breakdown with the dog, which frankly is not autistic behavior, but did endear her to me. I did always like her, mind you. I will concede, for the first day I was watching the show, I did exclusively call her Bryan Cranston's daughter. But after that, when she became a character, I loved everything about her. with one exception that we will get to. However, I think at the end of the show, like by the time I finished the season finale, she was actually my favorite character, and I can tell you exactly what scene put me over the edge. It was her last scene. That scene where she picks up her sister and they're walking down the street. That scene did things to my heart. Like, that scene emotionally devastated me, but like in a good way. That was the cutest scene in the world. I loved that scene so much. That scene, the scene with her and the dog were like my top two Mel scenes. I loved her. I actually think she was like emotionally my favorite character. Guys, it's time to talk about Mohan. I did really like her. However, some of y'all are crazy. We'll get to it. But like I did like Mohan. There was one moment where she was talking to, I think it was supposed to be Victoria. It might have been a different character now, I don't remember. But I remember I texted the bestie and I was like, am I supposed to be getting vibes from them? And the bestie was like, no, you're crazy. And I was like, okay, cool. And I went about my day. I do like her. She seems sweet. She seems kind. I feel like the narrative is like she's the one who like really cares about her patients, but I also feel like that narrative isn't true. I don't know. She definitely did seem to have like the most emotional connection with most of her patients, which I liked. I liked the scenes with her interacting with her patients. When she was with that lesbian couple with the sickle cell, that vibe, like the three of them when they were talking, those two are my favorites. Or at least like up there for me. Of the patients, they really might have been my favorites. I really liked them, okay? I got distracted by lesbians. Back to Mohan. I liked her too. She was very sweet. She was very kind. She's very pretty. Her at the end, right? Like after the mass shooting is like over and we've calmed down and she's like, I'm ready to go. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then she crashes out in the bathroom. Something about that scene hit me on like a visceral level. I was like, this is so me coded. For some context, specifically in this moment, I've worked so much in the last like 2 weeks. And I do feel the crash out is imminent. So like it got me in ways that I can't explain, but like it really did get me. Okay, we've reached senior resident territory. And frankly, I don't know who I want to start with. I guess we'll start with Langdon. I did like Langdon a lot. I found his arc really interesting. Like the concept of doctors who do steal pills is a real thing. I am curious. Here's my theory. Because he is in season 2, right? So I assume he, like, went to rehab? Unclear. I've done no research whatsoever. I'm sure I could just Google it. But I'm pretty sure he's in season 2, which means he went to rehab, which means this will be fascinating. For those who don't know this about me, I love an addiction arc so bad. It is my own personal lore is the cause, but, like, I love it so bad. I wish we got more of it in season 1. My main thing, I was talking to the bestie about it, and I was like, I wish we got, like, at least like one little hint or like two little hints that wasn't just Santos being annoying, because everything she did was annoying to me. Like I wish we got like Dana making like an offhand comment about how he seemed off or something. I don't know. I wanted something more to it than that, but I did like his arc. I had an interesting time, I guess I'll phrase it, as watching the fight between him and Robbie at the end, like after the mass shooting when he came back and he did everything and him and Robbie have that screaming match in the parking lot. That was interesting. And I did like it. I think I just like when men scream at each other. Okay. Now let's talk about Collins. Dare I say the worst workday known to man? Here's the thing. I've had like shitty workdays. Anyone who's worked a job for more than like a year has had a shitty day at work. That's just part of the human experience. We all have days where like we go home and it's like, I'm gonna quit my fucking job. I never want to set foot in that place again. I feel like I can no longer say that now, having watched the show. What do you mean her arc went from like morning sickness in the morning, at some point she miscarries, and then has to immediately go help a teenager have an abortion? What do you mean that was her day? And then she starts crashing out, so she gets sent home, goes to sleep, and wakes up to what is probably going to be like 1,000 messages about how she missed a mass shooting. And that's definitely gonna fuck with her, because that's the type of person she is. She's gonna start freaking out that she could have helped. She's gonna freak out. I think they said like 6 people died. And she's gonna start freaking out about those 6 people and be like, I could have saved those 6 people. I just can't imagine having a worse day than Collins had on whatever day it was that this show was set on. Oh god, it's time to talk about my mother. Dana? I fucking loved Dana. I loved Dana so bad that when, what's his name, the annoying patient man who punched her, I made threats that have never exited my body before. I believe I threatened, I could check my text, I don't care enough. I believe I threatened to tie him to ambulances and have him drawn and quartered. I loved her. Okay, first of all, she was the funniest bitch in the show. Absolutely and without a doubt, the woman who amused me the most was Dana. The character, actually, who amused me the most was Dana and Whitaker. Like, that, she's just, I'm gonna be so upset if she's not in season 2. I feel like they had, like, various arcs for various characters where, like, they could give themselves an out if they couldn't get the actor back, which, to be fair, having watched shows where they didn't do that and had to either randomly recast or just be like, they're gone, goodbye, we'll never see them again. It's just, I get it, but, like, if she's not in season 2, I'm gonna be really mad. Okay, it's time to talk about Dr. Robbie. I think I need to start with what is, in my opinion, the best scene of the show, which was his crash out. Like, when he took Jake in to see his girlfriend's body, and he started freaking out, and literally was, like, fetal position on the floor saying the Shema. Here's the thing. I feel like that one moment was designed specifically to make me crazy as someone who knows Jewish lore. As someone who was raised Jewish and knows, like, the lore, I went feral when Whitaker walked into that room and you could hear Robbie, like, quietly saying the Shema. I screamed. Audibly. I feel like my neighbors witnessed, like, my crash out in real time because they could hear me screaming every time. And that scene was everything to me. Here's the thing. I remember at the start of the show, they had, like, that one flashback to COVID, and I was like, oh my god, are we gonna get a show that's about, like, the trauma of the medical professionals in relation to COVID? And the bestie was like, kind of. I want something that's more focused in on it, but, like, what we got was so good. Robbie needs so much therapy, like, all the therapy one could have, but also, I loved him. My one negative thing I'd say about him, because he's, like, the lead main character, and I feel like he wasn't really the main character until, like, at least halfway through the show. There was just a lot of people doing a lot of stuff in this show, and I feel like Robbie didn't really get enough focus for a lot of it to be the main character until the mass shooting. Once we hit mass shooting, and we had his crash out, then we were back, and we had his speeches, his various speeches, like, you know, the one where he said you need to bury your feelings quite literally. Just, he was great. I loved him. He was probably, okay, hold on. Can I rank my top 5 characters? Let's see, right now, in real time. Dana, Whitaker, and Mel are definitely my top 3. And then my next 2 down of the, like, main cast, the ones I've discussed today, probably, I think I'm gonna say Robbie is 4 and Mohan is 5. Those are my top 5. I did also, actually, now that I'm saying this, I did really like Perla and Princess, like the duo nurses. I liked them, and also I liked the social worker. What was her name? It's blanking on me. I have the Wikipedia page up. I can look. The social worker, though, I really liked her. I thought she was, like, weirdly funny and compelling. I don't know what... Oh, her name was Kiara. I liked Kiara. She was funny. She was cool. I liked her. I did want to see more of her, like, dealing with the harder stuff. Like, I get that they had, like, a different person talk to the brain-dead teen's parents, who, insanely, I stared at the mom for, like, a good 10 minutes before I realized she was Bev Keane. But either way, I feel like we should have had her more doing, like, difficult stuff, I guess. I understand she's not the focus, but, like, I wanted more from her. Okay, that's enough about the characters. I'm going to talk about fanfiction and shipping culture really quickly. Y'all are crazy. Okay, I have AO3 up on my phone now. I'm looking at the top ships for this show, and the more I look at it, the more I realize that y'all are delusional. Okay, we're going to talk about the top 4, because number 5 is similar to number 1, and I feel like once you hit, like, the and instead of the slash, we've basically come full circle. Like, we don't need to go further than that. So our 4th most popular ship, according to AO3, is Collins and Robbie. I do actually like that one. That one I will give you. That's like one, they're of the top four, two are delusional, two are canon to me. And the Robbie Collins is canon. Granted, they did date, like, in reality they have lore, or I guess in the reality of the show they have lore. But, like, I do like them as a couple. I think they're very compelling as a couple. I think they could be interesting as a couple. That one I'll give you rights for. The other one I'll give you rights for is the Abbott-Robbie ship. I didn't talk about Abbott. I liked Abbott. He was funny. He was good. I liked him. Him and Robbie, I think they have, like, a lot there. If I were to yowify any pairing in the show, it definitely would be those two, because they have the history there. That or Robbie and Langdon, but I don't like that one as much. I like Robbie and Abbott more, and those two, they have history, they get each other. I understand that it's just male friendship, but also, like, the yaoi is there if you want it to be. Now let's talk about how you people are crazy. Abbott and Mohan, here's the thing. I was on a walk with the bestie yesterday. We were talking about the Pitt. We were talking about the ships within the Pitt, because I knew the number one ship, which we will be getting to. But she asked me how I felt about Mohan and Abbott, and I looked at her like she was crazy, because those two have, like, 3 shared scenes in the entire show. And I think that's it. Like, I literally asked her, I was like, where does this come from? And she was like, that one scene where, like, he teaches her how to do that freaky surgery thing. And I'm like, okay, but, like, I didn't want that. I don't think they speak. They have no chemistry. They have somehow less chemistry than characters that I don't think spoke in the entire show. Like, I would believe you if you told me that, like, Victoria and Dana have more chemistry there, because I think they do, than whatever the fuck is going on with Mohan and Abby. Y'all are crazy for that one. And then there's Mel and Langdon. What? Words cannot express how violated I feel just by the mere knowledge that people ship those two. Absolutely not. For starters, I don't think that Mel is the type to have an affair with a married man. I think she's very, like, follow the rules by the book. I don't think she'd have an affair. I don't think she'd be down. Secondly, I don't think she likes him like that. And I don't think he likes her like that. I think y'all really just saw, like, a man and a woman having a normal interaction, and you were like, what if they were secretly in love and wanted to fuck? Because I don't understand where it comes from. There are many ships that I have both shipped and experienced, and they have ranged from sheer delusion to essentially canon, and I don't think I've seen one from a TV show that makes less sense in my brain that was, like, the big ship of the fandom, because they don't have that vibe. They don't have a romantic vibe whatsoever. They're just, like, pals. I would like to remind the class also, I believe they met that day. So, like, you're crazy. I did see a tweet about how, I guess in one scene, Mel, like, uses his, like, arm or something to push her glasses up. If you watch enough of my videos, you will notice that I wear glasses and also push them up all the time. And I've used various items to push them up. I've literally used, what would I say is the weirdest item I've used? I have definitely used, like, walls, doors, various items, right? Like, as a glasses wearer, you're pushing up your glasses a lot. That's part of life as a glasses wearer. The thing is, the people that I've been in romantic relationships with, I've actually never used any of them to push up my glasses now that I say this aloud. Because, at least not in, like, the flirting stage. Because that's not, I think we all need to address the fact that not every show needs a ship, actually. And, like, sometimes two people are just friends, and that's okay, which is crazy if you've watched several of the videos I've made on this channel. Anyway, final thoughts on the Pitt. Really and truly one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. Like, if I was texting the bestie by, like, episode 4, and I was like, I think I need to redo my, like, top shows of all time. And I think the only thing that's holding me back from, like, really trying to rank the Pitt against, like, other shows that I love is that it's not done yet. Like, what if season 2 sucks? There's a lot of shows I've seen, well, maybe not a lot. There are various shows I've seen where I really like season 1 and then I hated season 2. I don't think season 2 is gonna suck. Because granted, no show have I ever watched where, like, by the end of season 1 I was this locked in. But, like, it's so good, okay? I'm currently sitting here debating watching ER because I liked the Pitt so much. ER has, like, 300 episodes. I don't have time for that. And I'm contemplating it. I'm like, I think this could be fun for me, actually. Maybe I should do this. It's just, it was truly like a transcendent experience in my life. And it altered my brain in ways I don't think I'm properly ready to comprehend. It was definitely my favorite show. Do I want to say that? Yeah. I think it is my favorite show that I've watched this year. Adolescence is like a close second, but I think I'm like more psychologically unwell about The Pit. And also, Adolescence just made me really sad. The Pit made me feel every emotion one could possibly feel under the sun. So, in conclusion, you should watch The Pit. If you watch this entire video and still haven't watched The Pit, first of all, why are you here? Because I've been sitting here for like 30 minutes screaming. But like, I guess you wanted to listen. I don't know. Watch The Pit is my main takeaway. Other than that, thank you so much for watching my rambles. I don't know if I'm now more mentally stable. Updates may or may not come. We'll see. Until then, like and subscribe if you want to or don't. I will be okay either way. You can comment whatever you want in the comment section. And yeah, thank you again for watching. Bye!